Hey guys, Damon Zell here, and I know I just dropped a news video a couple days ago, but there is so much more information coming out now that we are only under a week away from launch. Some great things being announced that's going to lift a heavy burden and a lot of the arguing that has been happening over the last month or so about this huge paywall. But let's dig right into it. But first, remember, if you guys like my content, feel free to tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, share and like the video, so you can stay up to date with everything that we're going to be doing here. First up was an interview about Diablo Mortal with Wyatt Chang. Now this interview itself was in French, it got translated to English, and it's giving a lot of background information about the game, what's in the game. I'm going to put a link to it in the description below, but there are some key points in here that is worth talking about. First of all, they're saying that at launch, you know, that last zone, that Realm of Domination that we talked about last time, that's going to be the last zone in the game. That's where you're going to level from 55 to 60. Now, after the launch, Blizzard wants us to know that they will be adding new areas, new stories, features, classes for many years to come, and all this content will be delivered for free. So you don't have to worry about paying any DLC prices to get the latest content that they're going to be pumping out. Like I said, I'm just skimming through some of this and just cherry picking some of the best information here, such as they will be adding a class change feature after launch. So if you are playing a class, say the Barbarian, Necromancer, Crusader, and you feel down the line that that class is not for you, but you've already amassed so much for this character, legendary gems, legendary gear, whatever, they are going to offer a class change so you can take all your information and switch it over to a new class. I mean, that's going to be perfect for me since I'm going to be starting off as a Necromancer, but you know as soon as they release the Witch Doctor, I'm going all in. Now, at this time, Blizzard doesn't know how often the class change feature will be available, but they estimate somewhere between a week and a month, and that option will be free, so you don't have to worry about swiping that credit card to change up your class. Now, if you are worried about level cap, when Blizzard adds new zones into the game, they will likely be adjusting the level cap as they do that. Just as with Diablo 3, when Reapers of Souls came out, they granted an additional 10 levels. So what we know right now is that the max level of the game is currently at 60. Some additional information we found out is that the clan size for the game is set to 100 players per clan. Now, to form that clan, you need to be at least level 30. Now, the game is also going to feature somewhat kind of like a mini clan within your clan, and this is called Diablo Immortal Warbands. Now, what warbands are is, say you have a set raid party. This is going to be a group of 8 players, and say this is like your static raid group, or this is the group of guys that your clique that you go out and do things with on a daily basis. Well, when you form the warband, which you can only do after you progress to the city of Westmarch, and you contact the NPC, which is hanging around the dead tree. And then what they're going to do is they're going to unlock that warband camp and explain the system's basics to you. Now, in this secret area for you and your 7 friends, here you can have your own chat, aside from your clan chat, where you can discuss strategies, just basically talk if you're not using voice comms. And you can take on PvE content together for rewards and some mild competition with other warbands. Now, with this system, they're introducing something called the Warband Stash and item sharing. Now, your raid group here in your warband, you're going to be competing against other warbands for the top spots on the leaderboard. And if you get one of those top spots on the leaderboard, you're going to be given Scoria. Now, this is one of the game's currencies. Now, aside from that, you're going to be tackling these PvE dungeons and raids with your warband. You're going to be given warband chests. Now, each time you open up one of these, they deposit a random item in your warband stash. And this is shared with everyone in your group. From the camp, you can access the stash and take any one item from it. If you want to take a different item, you need to return the first one, and the access log shows which player has taken each item. Now, there is a safeguard. If the player who originally deposits a particular item leaves your warband, so does that item, even if another person is borrowing that item from the stash. If that one person leaves that raid group, it's going to go with them. So it's just another mechanic in the game that allows parties in Diablo Immortal to share loot and reap the benefits of teamwork and staying and working together. Now, another great feature that they've talked about that's coming to the game is the Armory. Now, what the Armory is, it's going to allow you to save and swap between 5 different setups for your characters. Now, this includes skills, the items with all your ranks, essence, transferred legendary effects, normal and legendary gems, and your active Paragon tree. So if you have different builds for, say, bounties and challenge rift pushing and dungeons and raids, or even PvP, this Armory is going to allow you to swap seamlessly between all of those. Also, at launch, they actually improve the customization menu for your character. That's right, you can go in depth, like many MMOs right now, with, like forehead position, depth, angle, nose, eyebrows, eyes, very in depth to make your character the way you see it in your mind. So yes, this does mean if you are quite picky, you can take up to an hour building your character exactly how you want it to look. But it's great to see that they give us this level of customization to each of our characters. Now, something we haven't talked about before is a system in the game called the Circle of Strife. Now, this is going to introduce you to the Immortals, which is going to be the top 3 clans. The Immortals are going to consist of 300 players, so that can be in this. And in essence, they basically become raid bosses. Now, to counter them, there's going to be something called Dark Clans. Now, we're going to touch in a minute on how to become a Dark Clan, but the Dark Clan system is going to involve a lot of PvP. And they're introducing something called the Shadow War. Now, what the Shadow War is taking your Dark Clan and throwing it up against other Dark Clans in a tournament-style PvP event. And this tournament is going to basically determine the top 10 Dark Clans for the server. Now, to register for this tournament, it's going to be happening between Mondays and Tuesdays, with the preliminary battles starting on Thursday, and with the culmination of the final battle on Saturday. Now, you also get great rewards for competing in this as well, including legendary crests, aspirants keys, as well as some kind of loot chest. So these tournaments are going to go on, and they're going to face you off with other Dark Clans in your bracket, basically on par to your own. And this is going to keep going on until they determine the top 10 on the server. And those top 10 Dark Houses are going to face off against the Immortals to try and claim their throne. Now, of course, after launch, we'll get a lot more information on exactly how the Shadow War works. But there is multiple battlegrounds, and it's going to be like a raid-style event against one another. Now, you may be wondering how to become a Dark Clan. Now, we talked about forming a clan at 30. Now, at level 40, you can do a quest line, which is going to have you gather these items, one for each member in your clan, so you can convert your clan fully over to a Dark Clan. So there is a quest line, and there are items that you need to pick up for each member within your clan. Now, let's talk Paragon. Now, if you are familiar with Diablo 3 and you have played it, you know all about the Paragon system, where once you hit that level cap, you basically just grind out Paragon points, or you can add it to the stats of your character. Now, in Diablo 3, you can reset this at any moment in time. Anytime you want to reset and reallocate points, you can do so. However, it works a little bit differently in Diablo Immortal, where you'll only be able to reset it once a week, say about every 7 days. And that reset is not going to cost you anything. You don't need any items to do so. You're just going to press the button and then set the timer until you want to reset it again. So please, you are going to get a reset, but just plan your Paragon points exactly how you're going to want to go it. Think ahead before you just start plugging points into anywhere. I know I haven't talked about it, but a lot of other people have talked about it. Now, there's a lot of controversy about the paywall and legendary gems, because you need legendary crests to get a legendary 5-star gem. You can't get a 5-star legendary gem in the rare rifts at all. It is only available to paying people. That's real life currency, using the orbs to buy those legendary crests for the chance to get a 5-star legendary gem. Well, they have changed the system a bit, where now in the rare rifts that you use the rare crests for, it's going to be dropping crafting materials, which you can use to craft your own 5-star legendary gems. So now it's not going to be such a paywall. Yes, the whales and krakens can go ahead and swipe that credit card and have the chance of getting those 5-star gems very quickly, but the free-to-play players can just go ahead using the rare rifts and gathering and grinding those materials to go ahead and craft the legendary gem they may want. Now, also, data mines have also pointed out there are going to be introducing a lot more legendary gems into the game upon launch. I'm not going to go into it now. Maybe I'll do another video on exactly the changes to the gems that they've made right now, as well as the new gems that are coming. Now, if it's possible to believe, we have even more information coming out of Blizzard about Diablo Immortal. So we all know that the game is launching on June 2nd. Now, we do know now the time. So it's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific Data Time for both iOS, Android, and PC in open beta. Now, in some instances, you will see in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store that the game will be available to download as early as June 1st. But currently, right now, today the 27th, you can download and play. You can download right now the app through the Blizzard Battle.net launcher. So go ahead and log into your Battle.net and get that preloaded before the launch. Now, we also got a full server list in the regions. Now, I'm not sure which server I'm going to start playing on. If you guys want, I'll throw up a poll, and I'll pick some servers either between North America West or North America East, and, you know, we can have a poll to see which server we all want to join. But here, currently, right now, is the list, the full list of available servers at launch. Just keep in mind that the Asia Pacific ones will only launch on the 22nd. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is the wired and wireless controllers available to use on your device, your mobile device, your Apple or your Android device. Now, if you're running an iOS device, your controllers are looking at the Backbone 1 controller, the Razer Kishi, the Rotor Riot controller, that's the MFI, the SteelSeries Nimbus, the Sony DualShock 4, the Sony DualSense wireless controller, that's the PS5. You also have the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2, that's if you are iOS 15 Plus. If you are iOS 14 Plus, you can use your Xbox Adaptive Controller. You can use your Xbox One wireless Bluetooth controller, as well as your Xbox Series XS Bluetooth controller. Now, if you're running the Android version of the game, you can run the Xbox One wireless Bluetooth, the Xbox Series XS, the SteelSeries Stratus Duo, the Sony DualShock 4, or the Sony DualSense wireless controller for the PS5. You can use the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2, Xbox Adaptive Controller, the Razer Kishi, and the 8-bit Duo SM30 Pro controller. Myself personally, I will either be using the Sony DualShock 4, and I have to find it. If it's not working, then of course I'm going to be using my PS5 controller. Now, if you are running Windows, on your Windows device, if you're using a wired controller, you can use this list of controllers here. That includes the Xbox One wireless controller, the Logitech Gamepad F510 and F710, the Sony DualShock 3 and 4, the Sony DualSense Controller 5, the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons via the grip and USB-C, the Nintendo Switch Pro controller via USB-C, the Xbox Adaptive Controller, the Xbox Elite Controller, and the Elite Controller Series 2. If you're just going wireless on Windows, you can use the Xbox wireless, you can use the SteelSeries Stratus Duo, the Sony DualShock 3 via the 8-bit Duo Bluetooth adapter. You can use the Sony DualShock 4 via a Bluetooth, the DualSense, that's the PS5 controller, or you can use the Nintendo Pro controller, the Switch. Now you may need to use the Mayflash Magic NS to enable that, though. Now, if you start the game and you're just going to be a sole PC player and you're going for this PC open beta, because it's not fully out on launch for the PC, it's just going to be the open beta for it. Now, once it fully launches on PC, the question is, what's going to happen to your progress or your purchases? Well, they're going to carry over to the mainstream game. Once it goes full, you don't have to worry about that. All your progress is going to be saved. All your purchases will be maintained. Now, unfortunately, for ultra graphical settings for Diablo Immortal, it's only going to be enabled currently right now for the PC and select iPad devices. So if you're looking for that ultra graphic on your Android or your Apple phone or your iOS device, you know, it's not going to happen unless you use the iPad or your PC. Now, since we were talking about controllers, you can button remap your controller. So if you don't like where your skills are set on your controller, you can just go ahead through the menu and through the settings menu on the controller tab. Now, when using a controller, by default, pressing the right arrow on the D-pad will activate a free cursor that will allow you to access and navigate non-gameplay interfaces of the game itself. The free cursor key bind can also be changed from controller tab of the settings menu. Now, if you're not using a controller, don't worry about it. You can also reposition the skill buttons on your screen to provide a more comfortable experience for your mobile device. Now, this can also be adjusted via the control tab on the settings menu. Now let's go into some chat features. You can have your chat resized, you know, to increase the legibility of the chat text by, you can enlarge it up to 200% of its normal. And obviously this is going to be in the chat tab of your settings menu. And the nice thing is, say you don't want to use voice comms with your group, or you're just unable to join voice chat at the time, don't worry, they have a voice chat transcription to convert party voice chat into written text. And that's going to be alongside your party voice chat controls, allowing you to toggle the feature on and off as desired while in party. Now, obviously, you're going to have to use the game's in-house voice chat to do this. It's not going to pick up, I believe, if you're using Discord, a chat room up via Discord. Now, they also have text-to-speech for chat as well, and once enabled, the text-to-speech feature will narrate incoming chat messages aloud with a synthetic voice based on the chat channels that you've enabled. Now, there is additional customization features of this, so your ability to control which chat channels are narrated, audio alerts to separate messages from each other. You have an option to have a player's own messages narrated to you. There's two options of voice packs to select from, and the narration speed and volume control can also be adjusted, and the text-to-speech chat commands for easier control from the system settings. Now, on the flip side of that, you also have speech-to-text. And this is good for, you know, if you're playing with your hands and you really don't want to, you know, be on voice chat, but you don't have time to type out a message, you can just go ahead and use this feature once it's enabled in the game. Now, they've also added audio cues for chat for those important social moments in the game. This includes, you know, receiving messages from other players, receiving party or raid invites, controlling voice chat and sending voice memos, just to name a few of them. And obviously you can adjust the volume from this from the general tab on the settings menu. And that's what we got right now. Obviously, as we draw closer to launch, there's going to be more and more information just flowing through the developers to us. So until then, if there's not any other news, I will see you guys in-game. I'm going to have that post up on the community tab to decide which server we should all start on. So look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing you guys in-game and on my Discord. So throughout all games, remember, we here are one vision, one purpose, one front.